Everybody, it's Chad and Hank with the SRCA drag strip. Out at the track, tons of cool stuff going on, and we're at the beginning.
We're at the very start.
So we showed you at the tower, so you know exactly where we're standing if you've been here. Here's our line right here where we started, right?
Yeah, this is where they made the transition from the concrete that we replaced in the staging lanes a few years back.
So yeah, you can see that all looks fairly new back that way.
So they made the transition from here to where the water box starts right here.
So here's our water box right here, completely separate piece.
It's a separate piece. It's not anchored into the end of the concrete. It's made to be removed as it wears.
So as over time, over the years, as this wears down, right here, we can tear this whole piece out
and not disturb any of the surrounding concrete. Yeah, nothing's pinned in, nothing's reinforced. It's just really hard concrete. And then as it
So you
wears,
thought about this thing?
Yeah, we thought this one out. So then when we come in here and take this section out, we hurt none of the other concrete. We just lay in a new water box and go.
And we can also see there's our wall right there at the edge of the water box.
Yep, that's where it starts.
And then the other thing we can see from right here is our new lane. Essentially, there is our new lane.
Right, and it is 20 foot. It's actually 20 foot 1 inch on, on the racing surface lane itself.
So, is a very clearly defined piece. We got a 20-inch lane right off the water box right here.
Right, so we're 20 foot racing lane, 6 foot apron, 8 foot in the center. So it's 6, 20, 8, 26. So it's exactly 60 feet from the face of that wall to the face of that wall is 60 feet. And that is what NHRA is spec'd out to be, 60 feet from wall to wall.
And we can see our wall here. We've already got part of this poured.
Correct.
Now we're starting a little bit lower here at the starting line.
We're at 32 inches here at the starting line. Right, the water box is 32.
So we don't have big speeds right at the starting line.
That, and if you get a high wall here, then the spectators can't see the cars on the track. So what we did, we start 32 inches here, get to the 1,000 foot ET. At the 1,000 foot ET, the wall will be 44 inches tall. So we'll make a transition into the 1,000 foot. Then once at the 1,000 foot ET, as it travels on to the finish line at 1320, then at 1320, it will go to 48 inches. It'll be 4 foot high wall all the way to where you turn off the track.
And it's a perfectly flat wall on the insides.
Perfectly flat, both sides. It's a poured wall, continuous poured wall is formed. The guys are doing a great job. If you look down it,
and it's got steel in it as well.
It is reinforced very heavily, and that was done by talking to Larry Chris, Rob Park, the Sukis, getting together, going.
The guys that have done a little of this over the years.
And
so.
you know, in Vandermeer, this side we have our wall. We're actually 10 inches thick, which is I think, don't quote me on that, but I think it's 2 inches thicker than Vandermeer. But we made ours at 10 because it was we figured that's what we needed to take an impact, a severe impact. With the way it's reinforced, it won't crack and it won't give.
So, which is going to be outstanding for racer safety.
Correct.
Especially when you get down there with the big speeds, having a 4 foot wall.
We want to keep them on the track. We don't want them to go. We don't want them to leave the drag strip. If something happens, which we do not like to see, but if something happens, we know we can keep them in the drag strip. We don't want them to go over the wall, out into the dirt, roll. There's poles. That's why we spent the money to do what we did.
Which is outstanding.
So
we're right here, completely flat surface right here in the starting line area. So what's going to happen out here? I mean, obviously you've got to have a Christmas tree. You've got to have guys running this deal. You know, what's going to happen out here in the middle?
Yeah, before we were about 12 feet wide in the center. Talking to Larry Crisp and Rob Park again, as they came down, they're going, let's narrow that to 8 feet to give them a little more room away from the wall.
Okay.
So, which made sense. So the center section is 8 feet. So what we were going to do here, we used to have the guard strand barrier, which we're not going to put that back up. We decided to go ahead and put a 32-inch concrete containment, just like the wall's made. It's going to be 25 foot long. It'll be 8 foot on the outside edges, and it'll just come into a blunt V at the back. So that's what we're going to do in the middle.
So that'll be great too.
Right. Number one, it's going to look a lot nicer.
Absolutely.
And we think it's going to be a little bit safer than the guard strand that we had here before.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at on that. So the electrical, you probably can't see, but the electricals come up through. This is what Amarine swept in before. Electrical, 2 more electricals there. all the sweeps for the timing system in the middle, all the sweeps off the end for the timing system on each wall, and then out towards the Christmas tree, we have the swept out for, you can run video cable, and also all of the cables for the Christmas tree will now be
That's what
underneath.
these are right here.
This is electrical. This is
So
all
we can kind of see
110.
one right here. So, you know, so super clean,
Super clean.
out of the way.
Yeah.
Not going to be any sort of obstruction. for
Actually,
any of
it's
that.
gonna right now. Actually, that's gonna come up inside our
inside
wall.
the new wall in the
Correct.
in the middle.
Correct. So up in here, up here, this is the center. This is where the Bob's gonna put the new boxes for the timing system.
Right here.
Yeah, there'll be no cables above the ground like we had before that run on top of the Christmas tree. Everything is now in sweeps. Amarine swept all this, did it over there. So video, timing system cables, everything's going to come into this point. This is actually the starting line box where the optics will be. And then the Christmas tree out there will have its own power, supplied on its own circuit. Nothing else will be tied into the Christmas tree. The cables for the Christmas tree will then come underground to here through conduit. And then all the video that we have put in will actually run from the center of the Christmas tree out to the outside the wall where it'll be tied into a box. Wow. So everything is hid, everything is clean, everything is in conduit. Anything happens, just pull it out and fish a new cable in or whatever you got to do. Bob Brockmeyer had us put in 2 extra conduit runs from the wall to the center box. He said just put them in. Anytime we have an update in CompuLink, you guys already have the conduits in the ground. So that's what we did this for.
Wow.
So that's where we're at on that.
So for years from here on out, any upgrades, timing system, and obviously everything electrical, be it video, be it the timing system, changes constantly.
Yeah.
And you're going to be set up to make any changes
Any
without
changes.
modifying anything.
Without having to tear any concrete up.
Yeah.
That was our goal. So hopefully anything has to be done that's on someone else's watch, not mine by the time. But, and of course we put all the knockouts in the concrete. You know, used to have that be opened.
Right.
Talked to Bob Brockmeyer. He goes, this is how I want the boxes made. 0, which is this line you see right here. Everything in the track is measured from here. This is what they call 0. What Bob Brockmeyer calls 0, which starts at guard beam. And if you look outside the wall, you'll see a brass insert that's in the concrete.
That little plug thing.
That's permanently epoxied into the track on both sides.
Okay.
And that is true 0.
So is that the actual starting point, starting line point there?
That is the actual guard beam is.
We can kind of see it right here, and we've got one of those on each side.
So
permanent.
Bob says that's 0. So everything that is now measured down track, 60 foot, 330, 8th mile, 1,000 foot, is based off of those 2 pins. So they're permanently mounted in the concrete. Anything should ever happen, we know where 0's at. And then what we've done down there at each timing block marker, we've put another pin into the new cement. So if anything should happen, we know where 0 is. We know where everything is pinned. So everything will be put back to exactly the way
So
it was.
anything happens, it's going to be like that to rerun something,
We
reset
know-
something,
we know
whatever.
When something happens, you never know what happens. We know where all our marks are because they're epoxied into the new concrete.
Set off of this point right here.
0. Bob Brockmeyer calls this 0, which is guard beam. Your starting line actually starts a little bit past that, but guard beam is, he said, everything's from 0. Even the openings in the wall, we've measured from 0.
Okay.
So that's where we're at on that. So there's a lot more to building the drag strip than just laying down some concrete and putting up some walls. There's a lot of work entailed. Hundreds of hours spent getting this done. And there'll be hundreds of hours more to go, if not thousands. I mean,
But it's coming together. We
But
can
it's
look
coming
down
together.
track and getting really close. One more big pour, 254 feet, I think, is where they've got left at this point.
Yep, the tie in.
And then the guard walls, and then start running all this timing system and everything else. And
Actually,
painting
what
and-
we're going to do now that the walls are coming up on the starting line is I'm going to get with Brockmeyer again to make sure I get those boxes exactly where he wants them, and then we're going to start mounting the boxes and all the conduit for the timing system till we get to where he's done, until we catch him, and then as he continues on, we'll get behind him. We just want to get ahead of the game.
Right.
And then Amarine will come in and he'll pull all the new cables from the tower. He'll pull everything in and pull everything down track, and then Bob will come in and do the timing system.
Start plugging it in and checking it over.
Right, he'll do all the resets, put everything down, all the optics. Bob does all that.
So that'll all be state of the art.
As best as we can get it.
And the nice part about it's going to be clean.
It's going to be clean, and that was the one thing we wanted. We just don't. The amount of money that was spent, I was talking to the guys. Says let's do it right. Let's do it right the first time, and let's make it to where it can be repaired without major disassembly of your drag strip.
Or major destruction and reconstruction.
Right. So that's why we put a lot of thought process into this build. So that's where we're at now.
Super exciting, and lots of stuff happening. Things are coming together. It's getting close. Lots of exciting stuff happening. We're into spring. We're into April. Weather's starting to cooperate. These guys are making good progress, and that's good because there's a lot of stuff scheduled this year.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff scheduled, and we still have a lot of work left to do.
But like I said, lots of stuff going on. This thing's coming together. We've got Race Motive coming with the half-mile cars. We've got Rocky Mountain Race Week going to be over 2 weekends in a row. We've got all the bracket races that are scheduled. We've got
Summit series.
Divisional that is scheduled. We've got the
Lucas Oil
Pro Mod
series.
guys.
Yep.
We've got the Pontiac guys.
Yep.
You got a full plate.
We've got a full plate. We just got to, like you said before, we just need a drag strip.
And it's getting there. It's getting really close.
It's getting there. It's just everybody just be patient with us. Is it going to be painted and pretty right off the bat?
Probably not.
No. That all takes time, but we just want an operational drag strip and then get going.
Yeah. So stay tuned. We hope to see you guys out here this year. Hey, if you've got a car, we definitely would love to see you out here racing. If you don't have a car, come check it out. There's going to be so much cool stuff coming. And so much stuff that's never been here. The Race Motive guys with the half-mile cars.
Yep.
Rocky Mountain Race Week's been here before, and you never know what's going to show up on Rocky Mountain Race
That's
Week.
for fact.
Pro mods are great. The Pontiac show and races, you never know what's going to show up, what kind of Pontiacs are going to show up. And then, of course, the divisional with the alcohol cars, all kinds of stuff like that. And then your bracket races fill up very nicely, too, with a ton of cool stuff.
Our Summit bracket races, they're the bread and butter of this drag strip.
So even if you don't have a car, be sure to check us out. We'd love to see you out here this year. Come out and see what we've got going on. With this kind of a full plate, there's going to be something for everybody. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, that's for sure.
So stay tuned. More stuff coming. If you're on Facebook, please share the video with your other racing friends. If you're on YouTube, please check out our channel. Give it a subscribe as well, and check out the other videos we've been posting from the construction of the track, taking this thing into the next era of drag strips. So stay tuned. Lots more coming up. Definitely hope to see you out here this year, and we definitely hope to see you on the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you soon.